Jai Hind and good evening to all of you present over here. So, friends, the topic that I'm going to talk about is something about my life, something that is very close to my heart, and that is starting from zero. I want to start off with a confession, being very honest over here, that I have faced a lot of problems in completing the projects that I have started. In taking them to the logical conclusion, I have faced certain challenges. And I want to ask you all this question. If by just could introspect, could just be kind enough to raise a hand if you don't mind. How many of you all have abandoned projects that you all started with a lot of enthusiasm? How many of you all, took a New Year's resolution that never really went very far? How many of you all, decided that you will pursue a particular goal or particular course, but you never really completed that? Maybe by a show of hand. So I can see some hands, and so probably there will be some resonance, right? So let me start off. So what I've done is that basically I will be dividing my speech into three parts, right? So in the first part, I'll be talking about overcoming my childhood nemesis, the English language. In the second part, I'll be talking about my professional struggles. And in the last part, I'll be talking about certain life lessons that I was able to draw from my struggles. So I'll start off with the first part, overcoming my childhood nemesis, the English language. I was really afraid, as a kid, I was really afraid of the English language. I cannot imagine doing what I'm doing now when I was in school, right? I cannot imagine for the law of God that I could have done something that I am doing today. And these books that we may have loved at some point of time in our lives, I was truly scared of these books. I had no idea what Oliver was doing. I have no idea what Alice was doing, right? And I was really, really, really afraid of Ren and Martin. I mean, for the love of God, if somebody could have just not given these books to me at that point of time, I would have been a much happier soul. I remember my mom used to accompany me to these examinations. I used to run a fever before the English exam, and I used to by default flunk, right? So there was this policy that if you fail in one or two subjects, they will allow you to go through, right? So I was really a beneficiary of that policy, right? All my life throughout the school. Now the point is that it is not as if that I was really happy with this kind of state of affairs, right? And this state of affairs continued. Some of you all may have seen this kind of a mark sheet, distributed this kind of a mark sheet. This is mine. Going back to 2006, lowest marks I have scored 74 in English. And that is also because of the largesse of the ICSE board. It's not because of my efforts that I got 74. Probably I should have gotten a little less. So of course, this had to change. At some point of time, you have to overcome your weaknesses. You have to overcome your challenges. You cannot live with them. And I definitely wanted to overcome this. Not because only I wanted to do it, but I had this complex with my father who used to read all these fat books, right, in the house. And I used to struggle to just, construct two sentences together. So I had to do something about this state of affairs. So one fine day, I just picked up this Sidney Sheldon Sky is Falling. I don't know why. And I started reading it. And I was hell-bent that I will not leave this book incomplete. I will finish this book. Somehow, halfway through the book, I really started liking it. And I really started enjoying it. And then I never looked back. So then there was Mario Puzo, then there was David Baldacci, then there was John Grisham, then there was Jeffrey Archer, and the list goes on and on. And at some point of time, when I was outside the school, when there was no exam that I had to give, I sort of started falling in love with this language. I had a set of friends around me, one of my good friends, Sudhanshu, right? A typical Bandarite, speaks very fluent English. So when I was around him, he used to speak in English and I used to reply in Hindi, but I used to internalize everything that he was saying. I used to do the same with Rajdeep. I used to do the same thing with Barkha Dutt. I used to do the same with all these news anchors. I somehow managed to teach myself this language, right? I took help of reading newspapers. I selected a brown newspaper because I wanted to stand apart in my college. I'm a product of UDCT. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's supposed to be a good college, right? So everybody used to read the white ones. I wanted to stand apart, so I read the brown one. And in the process, I also taught myself economics, and I teach economics as a matter of bread and butter now, right? So the idea is that it's sort of started working for me. And another thing that sort of really helped me was that I realized somewhere down the line that to speak fluently, you have to think fluently in the language that you have to speak in. So I was very close to this project throughout my journey, right? I was very close to this language. I was thinking in it. I was dreaming in it at one point of time, right? So I was like, think and speak in English. And I'm going to sort of link all of this going ahead to the projects that we leave abandoned. So this is one of those projects, thankfully, which I didn't leave abandoned, which I completed. And probably, watching a lot of Friends, watching a lot of Big Bang Theory, binge watching, like Anansh said, it really helped, right? So I really picked up this language, gave the GREs and the TOEFLs because I wanted to do an MSc, MA, and a master's and a PhD abroad. So I did all these things, did everything that I can to master the language. And I eventually appeared for this test of English as foreign language, finally when I was 21 years old, right? And I scored 110 out of 120. And amongst my peers, I had done really well. And for a student like me, who used to flunk on a regular basis year after year after year, this was something which I could, accept as a final state of affairs that, yeah, this makes sense. So yeah, I was actually successful. Like I said that I wanted to do a PhD in United States of America. I was actually able to get a call from my dream university, that is North Carolina State University. So this entire project was really, really going well. I learned the language, I applied, and I got admission. I should have flown to America and done a PhD, and I don't know what after that. But then God had certain other ideas, right? And I will start my story of struggles because from there, from getting that call, I'll face a downhill kind of a struggle, and the struggle will be an ongoing kind of a struggle for 10 long years. 10 long years is what I'm going to talk about in the next 1 or 2 slides. So allow me, right? So this is the ticket. I was supposed to fly out on 1st August 2012. I get goosebumps even now when I talk about it. I must have looked at this ticket probably 15 times, 20 times, 30 times, I don't know how many times when it was booked. I still look at it sometimes. So Mumbai to Bahrain, Bahrain to London, London to Durham is something that I had internalized. That was my dream. But the point is that I somehow managed to get my visas rejected, right? And I somehow managed to not be able to, complete this journey. And this dream of pursuing a PhD abroad, it was sort of ruined probably by certain actions or inactions on my part, right? And I managed to get my visas rejected. Now, once this happened, I did not have much of a plan B, right? And I come from a business family, and call whatever you may like it, but my father gifted me a factory. Not many people can say that, but I can say that I was having this kind of a luck that my father gifted me a nice factory, right? He set it up for me. It was up and running. And the clients were there, the business was there, the money was there for me to make. But somehow, I managed to close the factory down, right, by giving certain reasons, excuses, whatever you may call it, and I ran out of that. I somehow substituted the dream of going and pursuing a PhD in America with somehow pursuing a dream of becoming an entrepreneur, and I will somehow substitute this dream of, becoming an entrepreneur by the dream of becoming an IAS officer and serving my country. Now, I may have substituted the dream, but I'm not talking it lightly. I was serious about it. Because people said that, you can speak well, you can do a lot of marketing. I said that I don't want to go around selling chemicals and boxes, etc. I want to sell change, right? I want to sell certain positive ideas. Noble thought as it may be, it was just a dream, right? Things are going in a good manner. So I appear for this very difficult civil services examination, and I managed to clear the prelims examination the first attempt, right? But after that, for approximately 3 long years, poor planning and poorer implementation leads me nowhere. So this project, again, is just a dream which was left abandoned, or it was a project which did not see completion. So it is not as if that between 2012 and 2016, I wasn't working hard. I was working very hard. My intent was there, and nobody likes to fail. Any student, any child who is failing, or any professional who is struggling is not doing it because, they're liking it, they're enjoying it, that, okay, chalo, let us go back to zero, and let us start again, right? It's not like that. But it is happening, and it was happening with me. And I was not having handle over it. And thereafter, again, it happens that I sort of start my own venture, and again, it so happens that I manage to run it into the ground. And finally, in 2019, I'm really fed up of myself. I'm like, what is happening? I have to change something, right? I have to do something about it. And in this world of distractions, I need to focus upon something. And that something is one line that one of my mentors gave me. He told me just one day that, Mr. Avinash Agarwal, when I hear your story, I can only say that life has given you many opportunities. It just so happens that you have not made anything work. And the only thing that is common in all these things is that your ability to sort of, give that excuse and not complete it. Don't do it. You're not doing justice to the talent that you have, you're not doing justice to the ability that you have, and you're not doing justice to the intent that you have, right? So stick to it. I decided that come what may, I'm going to stick to this job. I'm not going to leave it. I'm an online educator. I know how to talk. I know how to explain. I know how to break subjects down to their very basics and explain it to students, especially to those students who are considered to be weak, any subject that I want to teach them. I continued in this field. Finally, in 2021 of July, right, I joined a very prestigious platform. I'm continuing over there. Now, sometimes I'm really scared that what is the path ahead? Is it going back to zero? Or is it not going to go back to zero? And that is where I have to introspect almost on a daily basis and understand that what is it that I'm going to do next. And I have been trying to sort of answer these questions regarding, what were my struggles about and what was the root cause of my struggles. And I found the answer in this graph. Now, this graph is a very simple graph. It's graph of our lives. If it's graph of our relationships, it is a graph of our startups, it is a graph of our goals, it is a graph of our enterprises, it is a graph of everything that we start doing. We start doing it with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of dreams. But the moment you come out of that dream wala phase and you come out into the phase where you're actually implementing it, you see that that implementation part is very unglamorous, it is very boring, and it is something which is not at all fancy. It is not as jazzy as your dreams are. And suddenly things become hard because things are going to become hard. Suddenly things become very difficult because nobody is applauding, nobody is cheering you on, there are no results, there are no successes. You enter into this dark swamp of despair. By default, you enter into this dark swamp of despair. And at this point of time, the easiest thing to do is to change your dream, is to change your path, is to change your goal, is to give excuses that, okay, this is not working for so and so reason, so I want to do something else. And why do you do that? Because you want to again go back to that jazzy phase of dreaming a dream, which is costless, which is effortless, which doesn't require anything. And then again, the same thing will happen, and probably again you will change, and probably the same thing will happen. And this is exactly what I stopped doing at some point of my time, at some point of my life, right? So I said that there has to be a belief, there has to be a persistence, there has to be an internal support system and an external support system. And I have to sort of, go to that stage where I say that, okay, it is not working, but it is fine. I'm making small progress. Okay, I've learned something new, and suddenly it will start working. And that is what my key takeaway from all these failures has been, that I have to put in that extra effort, be a little more persistent, be a little more dogged in my approach, and not give up so easily. Now, when I start running a marathon, it is almost impossible for me to leave it incomplete, because that thought that I should leave it incomplete because it is becoming difficult, I feel that the day I do that, I will be back to square one in all aspects of life. So I have to keep going, I have to keep moving on. When I do my job, and when it becomes a little repetitive, as jobs of teachers sometimes become, that you're teaching the same subject over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, but the important thing is that in every new class, there are certain people who have come here to learn something new, and that is more important, and not the fact that maybe you are a little bored today, right? So I have to be a little consistent, and maybe, when you all have heard this, probably, I don't know, maybe it may just help, and that is why I wanted to talk about it to you. So yeah, that's my life story, and I have started from zero, and I don't want to start from zero. I have to start, but I don't want to keep coming back to zero. So don't keep coming back to zero. Consolidate, build, and grow. That is something that everybody deserves, and that's it. Thank you.